Brad Waller here, and I'm coming to you from my 1967 Chevelle, which is going to be partly the topic of today's talk. I've had some feedback about my videos, and always welcome all feedback, good, bad, indifferent. Well, good or bad, indifferent kind of boring. But one of the comments, and I think this is an interesting one, is that in today's modern world, where, especially here in California, we are concerned about the environment, how do I justify driving a polluting gas guzzler car like the Chevelle? And it's interesting. I have mixed thoughts on that because I am a bit of an environmentalist. And I guess really it boils down to dollars, economics. I bought this car 27 years ago, I think is when we were talking about it, when I figured it out, 28 years ago, something like that. And, I own it free and clear. And it actually, not that I bought it as an investment, but it actually either holds its value or gains slightly every year. If I bought a modern, clean car, no matter what I bought, it would depreciate in value. So I could sell this car because I don't have room for any more cars, and I couldn't afford going out and buying a car at the moment. Can't afford a brand new car, paying cash for it. I don't want to pay a loan. So I could sell this car and use pretty much everything that this had and get a reasonable car, something like a Chevy Volt maybe, which is efficient, would run on electric almost the whole time I used it. But 10, 15, 20 years from now, that same car is going to be worth next to nothing, whereas the Chevelle won't. So there's that economic thing there. I could work on the Chevelle and make it a clean car. I've actually looked into it, going back to shortly after I bought it, back in the 90s. I did a bunch of research on converting the car to either natural gas or compressed natural gas, CNG, or propane. There are a lot of possible conversions. There's a lot of propane running cars in a lot of places. So propane is easy to do. I could actually do it with this engine as is. Natural gas, I would need a slightly different engine because it needs more compression. Downside of natural gas is it's ended up being a lot more expensive to convert because I need a new engine. I need the entire fuel delivery system modified, and the tanks for natural gas are very expensive, and my range would be greatly reduced. So even I could probably take up half my trunk and get to similar range, but for reasonable volume of tanks, natural gas definitely has a range issue. So going to propane is far more affordable. The tanks are very reasonably priced. There's a lot of options, but it's still multi-thousands of dollars to do it. And the real way I would want to do it would make this a dual fuel car, so I would have, maybe 100 miles range on propane and the rest on gasoline. But it just doesn't make economic sense to take this car, cut it up, add in a big propane tank, plumb it, do all that work, and I would pretty much have to do it myself. The places that do propane conversions make all their money from doing it on brand new cars. And there's even grant money and things like that to help convert new cars to propane, but nothing for old cars. So it would be take my car offline for a while and do a lot of work to get it going. And I'm just not ready for that. So yes, I am I don't know about a gross polluter, but compared to most other cars, I'm a significantly higher polluter than I could be. The only mitigating factor for that is my commute is about 5 miles round trip. So I'm not, yeah, if I was driving 20 miles, 30 miles a day, this car actually might be less affordable to drive as well because of the mileage and the fuel costs and all that. But for what I drive, I fill the car up every 3 weeks or so, sometimes once a month. And so I'm not really putting that much volume of pollutants out compared to somebody who drives 100 miles a day, even in a more efficient car, because they're just driving so many more miles. And hey, you put out carbon because it's a byproduct of combustion. So it's pretty tough to not put out carbon even in a very fuel efficient car without going to an electric car. So that's it. That's my justification for driving the car that I have, as well as the fact that I enjoy it a whole lot. But that's my economic justification. With that, signing out. Bye.